You look at a word you write every day, like door. Suddenly, it looks alien. Or you look in the mirror and your own reflection feels unfamiliar. This is Jamais Vu, French for never seen. It's the unsettling and lesser known opposite of déjà vu. Why does the brain suddenly lose its sense of familiarity with the most common things? What causes this reality file to become briefly corrupted? We are decoding the cognitive science of recognition to understand what happens when our internal archive fails. We have all experienced its more famous cousin, déjà vu, already seen, that eerie, fleeting sensation that a new moment has already happened. It's almost comfortable. Jamais vu is not comfortable. It's the feeling of looking at a face you have known your entire life. Your parent, your partner, your own reflection, and for one terrifying second, they are a stranger. The data is there, but the feeling is gone. It is a profound cognitive dissonance. Your rational mind knows this person, this place, this word, but the automatic, instantaneous flash of recognition, the emotional tag that says, "This file is known," fails to load. This isn't simple forgetfulness. This is recognition, unplugged. For most of us, the most common window into this phenomenon is a process known as semantic satiation. Try it. Say a simple word, any word, spoon. Say it 30 times. By the 10th repetition, it sounds strange. By the 20th, it's just a sound. By the 30th, it's a bizarre, alien noise. It has lost all meaning. You have, in effect, induced a temporary microdose of Jamais Vu. You have fatigued a specific neural pathway. You have stared at the file so long that the archive temporarily closed it. But what happens when this glitch escapes the laboratory of a single word and infects your entire perception of reality? What is happening in the brain when the familiar tag itself breaks? To understand the failure, we must first map the system. Recognition is not a single event. It's a two-part process. First, your brain perceives the data, the shapes, the colors, the sounds. This is the what. Second, your limbic system, your emotional and memory center, cross-references that data and attaches the feeling of knowing. Déjà vu is a false positive. The familiarity tag is applied by mistake to something new. Jamais vu is a false negative. The file is opened, the data is correct, but the familiarity stamp is missing. But why? The investigation leads us to the temporal lobes. This region of the brain is the grand archive, the central hub for memory, recognition, and emotional processing. It is here that the brain's reality check systems are housed, and it is here that the glitches can originate. A 2006 study by Dr. Chris Moulin at the University of Leeds explored this very phenomenon. Dr. Moulin and his team asked volunteers to write common words like door over and over. After about 30 repetitions, or around 1 minute, 68% of the volunteers reported strange symptoms, ranging from the word looking strange to feeling that their hand wasn't their own. They had induced Jamais Vu. Dr. Moulin's hypothesis is one of neural fatigue. The system is overstimulated. The representation of the word door in the brain is exhausted. It's a satiation of the pathway. The brain, in its efficiency, temporarily shuts down the connection to stop the loop, resulting in a feeling of unreality. But this isn't just about words. This disconnection hypothesis is the leading model for Jamais Vu in all its forms. We are looking at a momentary desynchronization between the temporal cortex, which identifies the object or face, and the amygdala and hippocampus, which provide the emotional context and memory. Your eyes see your mother. The perception signal lands. Your brain correctly identifies human, female, known associate. But the familiarity signal, the one that carries the emotional resonance, the warmth, the feeling of mom, is delayed or dropped. For a split second, you are looking at a stranger who looks exactly like your mother. It is, by all accounts, deeply disturbing. Further evidence for this neurological glitch comes from clinical cases. Research published in Cognitive Neuropsychiatry notes that chronic or intense Jamais Vu can be a precursor or a symptom associated with temporal lobe epilepsy or certain types of migraines. In these cases, a small, uncontrolled electrical storm in the temporal lobe creates this disconnection. This isn't a ghost, it isn't a parallel universe. It is a biological, a mechanical failure in the wiring. The archive is intact, but the access card scanner is temporarily offline. So, what does this mean for us? When we look at a word and it becomes meaningless, or a face becomes a mask, it is not a sign of madness. It is not the onset of a serious condition. For the vast majority of people, Jamais Vu is simply the sound of the system rebooting. It is a harmless, temporary desynchronization. It is the brain's fatigue monitor, stepping in after being overstimulated, either by repetition, stress, or simple exhaustion. It is a reminder that our perception of reality is not a constant, passive feed. It is an active, fragile construction. It is a process of perception and emotional tagging. When you experience Jamais Vu, you are simply catching the system in a momentary lag. A split-second buffer as the feeling of familiar catches up with the sight of what is. The brain is not a perfect machine, but it is a rational one. We have closed the file on Jamais Vu, but the archive is still open. There are countless mind glitches left to decode. Comment below with the phenomenon you want us to investigate next. Subscribe and help us build the archive.